Welcome to the video. This is just going to be a short decode in where I believe we've solved the midnight issue or problem right here. And we're going to be looking at iPad Goat here as well as the video Karma by Taylor Swift. We're going to be doing a little decode there. Before we get into it, I'll just read a quick and simple gospel. John chapter 3 verse 16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. And that's all you have to do. All you have to do is believe. It doesn't matter how good of a person you think you are, how often you go to church, how often you give to charity. There's nothing that you can do yourself that will earn your salvation. It's all about believing in him and his work on the cross. It's all about him, and it has nothing to do with you. All you have to do is believe and trust in him. We'll start off here. I'm just going to be looking at two different scenes within this, and we're going to be looking at a little bit of symbolism and numbers, and yeah, I think we've solved the midnight riddle here. So let's get that sound off of there so we don't get copyrighted. So video starts off here, shows like the midnight record here, and what is obviously being symbolized here, a blue moon, and the pi blood moon in on March 14th is a blue moon on the Roman calendar. So on the Roman calendar, that is a blue moon. So that's where you're going to get your blue moon symbolism. And then the butterflies here are symbolic of rebirth. So that could be relevant to the Antichrist coming back to life, but we're not going to talk about that in this video. So I will cover one scene here as it is relevant to the video I posted just before this here. So in this scene here, what people for the longest time believed was being covered here or shown here is a third quarter moon, so lit on the left side. But what I believe is being shown here now is actually the equilux, which is equal parts day and night, which just so happens to be, let's see, I'll pull it up here. Let's go to Jerusalem. I should have had this ready. Yeah, we got, so right around here, between the 16th and the 17th, you have pretty well, or at some point between here, you'll have equal parts day and equal parts night, which is very representative of the wheats and the tares, the believers who will be taken, and those who don't believe who will be left, the righteous and the unrighteous. But this is exactly between the 16th and 17th is where you have equal parts day and night. So that will be important here in a lot of symbolism we'll be looking at. But so assuming this is what's being shown here, and then you have these guys over here, which I believe is the representative of the blood moon element of this moon. So the March 14th moon is on Pi Day is a blood moon or a lunar eclipse. And on this scene here, or this side here, you have her wearing a blue dress, which could be symbolic of the blue moon. And then you have the white rabbit here, which is a clue to look at the new year, which also just so happens to be on March 15th to 16th. So that on the old Roman calendar is the new year right there. So there's your white rabbit, blood moon, equilux, and the blue moon all in one picture. So let's consider that one solved. Then in the next scene here, you have the purple hourglass here, which if you combine red and blue, you get purple. So that's where you get their purple symbolism. And it's showing you here time is running out, because if we're right around here and you still don't believe, time is most certainly running out for you. That's for sure. Then I'm covering a lot more scenes than I intended, but they're just kind of back to back. This scene here, you have the full moon here. She's wearing the blue dress, symbolizing the blue full moon, as well as you could read into the red lipstick there and assume that it's showing you the blood element of that as well. And then it kind of changes into this red pearl. She's wearing red. She's got the red hair that even just looks like a blood moon. So that's again what they're showing you there is the blue blood moon. So we'll fast forward here. We'll go to the end. I could have covered a lot more in this video, but I'm just gonna keep it around this midnight thing we're looking at. So you have this cup of coffee, which is representative of the moon. You have right here the black moon, or it's between the blue moon and the black moon here. So this actually, we're going to look at this, but this is a date, what they're showing you here, not a time. So you have the black moon, which occurred on December 30th, 2024. So a black moon is when there's two new moons within the same calendar month. So that happened on December on the Gregorian calendar, the regular calendar. And then you have the blue moon here, which happened on the Julian calendar within January. However, with the wolf moon. However, I don't believe that's the one they're pointing to here. I believe this is also representative of the blue blood moon, blue on the old Roman calendar on March 14th. So that's what I believe what they're showing you there. Then she sets that down on a piano. So the symbolism of the piano is there's 88 keys and there's 88 constellations. So that could be the kind of the hint or nod they're pointing to there. But I'll just play this here. This is going to be the important part that we're going to go over. So what you have here is the time is changing to midnight. However, if you'll notice, the hour hand does not move at all, and it snaps from about, let's assume that's pointing to 12, so it's 12:56. It's I know that doesn't make sense. It would be over here, but let's assume this is 12:56, and it snaps from 56 to midnight. So what they're showing you here is a date, and I'll show you how. So let's assume this is 12:56, and we're going to assume that is 12:12. So if we go over here, so we have 12, so we'll have 12:56. Let's assume we have 12, and then add 5 plus 6, so then we end up with 12:11. That's why that minute hand is so far, or the second hand is so far off there. And then we'll have 12:12 as the very next date. So what they could be showing you here is 12:11 and 12:12. So if we go to the calendar here, and then we look at the rabbinical or the old moon sliver calendar, what you have that exact date right here. So you have 12:11 going into 12:12. So 12:12, which we're going to assume is the midnight. This is what they're pointing to in I Bet Goat here. I believe this is not a time, but this is a date. So that is midnight. March, let's go. Sorry, I'm scrolling through so much here. But this midnight date we're looking at here on the Gregorian calendar is the 12th going into the 13th. So this is the date we're going to look at right here, 3/13. So now we get into the interesting stuff. So I'm going to pull up here. So that song Karma was on the album Midnights, as they kind of show you in that video. It was released on October 21st, 2022. So we're going to go to a little date calculation here. We put in October 21st, 2022, and then we throw in March 13th, which is our 12/12 midnight date, 2025. And the day count here is 874 days. So that's the days between those two dates. And we go to Strong's Concordance for 874. So if you're not familiar with this is a believed to be divinely inspired kind of catalog, which every word in the Bible has a number assigned to it, both Hebrew and Greek. So this is the Hebrew one, Hebrew 874. And the definition, the first one is to burn, consume, remove. So let's go back and take a look at that album cover. And let's see if we notice anything that's out of place there. Or perfectly in place. She has a lighter. Let's get a little closer look at that. So what are the chances that the Strong's Concordance for the distance between those 2 days, 874, is to burn? And then on the album cover here, she has a lighter. What are the chances of that? But yeah, that's so. In conclusion, I believe this is we've solved the kind of midnight puzzle, and this is midnight. This is what they're looking at for midnight. And if you're familiar with the doomsday clock, I believe when it strikes midnight is when you'll have that Third World War. So yeah, that's the significance of the clock pointing towards midnight. So essentially what they're showing you here is this is midnight. And then the events that follow will be that kind of sudden destruction. But yeah, that's everything I want to show in this video. And thank you for tuning in. God bless. Please like, share, subscribe, and tell your friends. Take care.